everyone, welcome back to another Bricks Aquatics video. Today's video I'm super excited to make. It's a project that I've been wanting to start for quite some time now, and that would be these guys right here. Now what I have in my hand right here are known as sea monkeys. That's what they are advertised as, at least. But before I start any project, whether it's buying fish, plants, or any type of animal, of course I like to do research and get a little bit of a background of whatever I'm starting or caring for. So be sure to stay tuned because I will be getting into all of that stuff and more in just a bit. So with that being said, what are sea monkeys? Well, obviously they're not actually monkeys, they are not a mammal, but they're actually crustaceans. Specifically, they're known as brine shrimp. Now yes, brine shrimp, they can be found out in nature, but it's important to note that these sea monkeys right here are not exactly the same type of species. So the brine shrimp that you would find out in nature would be Artemia salina, but these guys right here, they're a hybrid of those brine shrimp. Of course, for the purpose of this brand right here, they have been genetically modified to live longer and grow larger. So they're more of a hybrid of that brine shrimp species that you would find out in nature. Now, a question that you might have that I definitely had in the past is how does this little dry pouch right here, how does this turn into an aquatic animal? Because sea monkeys, they are fully aquatic animals and they do like very salty waters, but how exactly does this turn into this? Now, the answer to this question is actually pretty cool. So if a female finds herself in favorable conditions, she will reproduce through live birth. However, if she finds herself in unfavorable conditions, she can actually reproduce through laying eggs. Now, these eggs will be known as cysts. Now, this type of egg, the cyst, has the ability to undergo a process known as cryptobiosis. Essentially, what that means is that they have the ability to go completely dormant and actually pause embryonic development. Now, the coolest part is that once they do sense that they are in the correct favorable conditions, like they are surrounded by water that is salty, that is oxygenated, then they will continue to hatch and of course grow into your adult form of sea monkeys. Now in my case, I've actually already started a colony of sea monkeys. I didn't start them here in New York, but actually over in Tampa, Florida, where I go to school. Now, if we take a look over here, this is the current state that they are in right now. Now, I know the water level is significantly low. This has remained completely untouched since August. And when I first took a glance at it, I thought that that was the end, that I had kept them in too cold temperatures. But if you look very closely, you will notice there is in fact still life. Now, those are just the juveniles, but they grow pretty quickly. Over the next few weeks, those will be adults. And although sea monkeys can reproduce in pretty cold temperatures like I have them in right now, they do reproduce a lot slower and their adult stages are slightly smaller than what you would say. I also believe that since they were here for all of the seasons from August through now January, they were able to slightly adapt to the colder temperatures. It wasn't so much like putting them in 80 degrees and then instantly putting them in 20 degrees. I think then they would probably have just died at that point. But since they were able to gradually adapt to the steady decline in temperatures, I think that's why they're still thriving and doing pretty well. But now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, it is time to start my new colony of sea monkeys. All right, so to start off, let's begin. All right, so this is what we are given here inside of our kit. We have our water purifier, instant live eggs, and the food. This is a little spoon to feed them with. And then right here is your instructions manual. What I did buy was just the packets and the instructions. It did not come with the little tank over there that I have. So instead, I'm going to be starting this with my own tank or my own container of choice. All right, so the directions do say to pour 10 to 12 ounces of clean water or purified water into a clean container. So this is my container of choice, just a little mason jar. Now I don't have a measuring glass with me right now, but this is 16 ounces of Poland spring water. They suggest bottled water or distilled water, so we'll see how much I can get into this. So I think that's all right. I'm sure if I'm a few ounces off, it's not going to be too much of a big deal. So I think that right there is fine. Now the next thing that it wants you to do is to take your water purifier packet and then pour it into your container of choice. So I'm going to do that now. And this is what it looks like now. I'm just going to stir it a little bit so it gets dissolved within the water. And just like that, after several stirs, you'll notice that the water is already clearing up and it's beginning to dissolve within the jar. Adding this water purifier will probably not only add the correct amount of salt that they need to thrive in, but of course, as it says, purify the water and make sure all of that chlorine and other harmful chemicals are to be made safe for the new eggs. So that's just about all I can film for today. My next step is to wait at least 24 hours until I can then add these eggs right here. But once I do add the eggs, I will bring this indoors where it's much warmer. It's warm out here right now because I have the heater going, but I don't want to put the eggs in and then keep them in here overnight because they probably will not hatch. Those other guys were able to adapt over a long period of time, but to get the maximum growth rate and hatch rate, I will put them indoors in warmer temperatures. So I will see you then tomorrow. Okay, so I have my jar right here and our instant live eggs that are going to go inside. Now, if I remember correctly from when I last hatched these guys, you actually don't want the water to have that bluish tint to it, like that little blue dye that you see right there. That's an indicator that the water is actually too cold for them. So like I mentioned previously, I will be taking these guys inside. I'm just going to stir to dissolve everything, and then I'm going to take them indoors where it's much warmer. Alright, so it is just about day 4 or 5 now, I believe, and we finally have some signs of life here in my sea monkey jar. Now, I know I'm videotaping rather far away from it, but once I get close and shine some light through it, you'll be able to see some of that life. You can see one right there. They are very happy. They're swimming all about the jar, and I'm really happy that I was finally able to see some life because I actually am leaving in 30 minutes to catch my airplane to go back to Tampa, Florida. So now that I'm nice and close to it, you can see that one at the very top right there. I believe there's a few down here as well. I just shook it up a little bit just to spin it, so they're not that visible as they were like 2 seconds ago, but there's definitely at least like 5 or 7 that I saw at first. Now, not only will more continue to hatch, but of course they're going to grow much larger as well, just like that right there. But I'm so happy that I was able to get a glimpse of their hatching right before I leave for college. And that is pretty much as I'm going to be able to film for these guys because, like I said, I am leaving. But as far as the care goes for the remaining time that I will have them, I have given my mom the directions to feed them. Now, you should start feeding them typically 1 week after you see them start hatching. So we're going to start that with their food over here. And then I'm also going to tell her to constantly push air in the tank. I have like a little siphon or like a turkey baster type of thing that she could just blow bubbles into here with. And as long as you get that surface agitation, then you're going to get some aeration in the water, which is really good for them as well. Another thing, as you could see, the water has already begun to evaporate a lot, so I will have to tell her to constantly fill that up with a water bottle. But it's pretty easy care. These aren't a huge deal. These are really fun to get and to watch grow. And I can't wait to come back in May, June, and see the adults and the newer generations that will soon come. Alright, so that's about it for the sea monkeys. I'm really happy that they were able to hatch decently fast so I can get some nice videos of them. I apologize for not being able to get videos of their adult versions, of course. Maybe my mom will be able to send some pictures while I'm away at school. But I think this was a pretty successful video. I'm going to continue caring for those guys. But I do have to leave in just 5 minutes to go to my airplane now to get my flight. But I have a ton of new exciting things planned for Tampa where I go to school. I'm going to be doing some tri-ops videos. I'm going to be doing, I have like this hanging on the wall, like fishbowl thing that I'm going to be setting up, and some plankton net videos, some seine net videos. So I have a ton of exciting things coming up. Finally leaving this cold, rainy, windy New York, and I can be down in the semi-tropics, I guess you could say, where it's much warmer. So I'm really excited for that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you again in Tampa, Florida.